Our next element is humidity. What is humidity? It refers to the amount of moisture or water vapor present in the air. There are two types of humidity. One is absolute humidity and the other is relative humidity. Absolute humidity is represented by the symbol AH and relative humidity is expressed as RH. Now, absolute humidity is the actual amount of water vapor present in the atmosphere. And the unit for absolute humidity is grams per cubic meter. And relative humidity has no unit because it's a ratio. It is expressed as a percentage. Now, out of these two, absolute humidity and relative humidity is more important because it compares the actual amount of water vapor present in the air with the maximum amount of water vapor that the air can hold. So it gives us a comparison between actual amount of water vapor and the maximum amount of water vapor that air can hold at a certain temperature. Whereas absolute humidity does not take temperature into consideration. Hence, absolute humidity does not, make us aware as to whether the air is fully saturated or it is completely saturated. Now, what is saturated air? When the air is filled with water vapor to its full capacity, such air is called saturated air. That means such air has no room for more water vapor. And once air gets saturated and it gets condensed, it will cause precipitation or rainfall. So this is about the concept of humidity. Moving on to the relative humidity. Now, relative humidity increases or decreases with change in air temperature. When air can hold no more moisture, such air is said to be saturated, and in that case relative humidity will be 100%. And further cooling will condense the water vapor into clouds and will give rainfall. Now, humidity is an important element of weather. And air with high percentage of relative humidity has great potential for condensation. So you must have seen the weather report when it is stated that humidity is 60% and chances of rainfall are more. Okay, but what happens is that when the air is humid, it absorbs more heat and it can retain heat for a longer time than dry air. And whenever there is high humidity, it makes us feel uncomfortable as it reduces the rate of perspiration, because our sweat, our perspiration does not evaporate. When the humidity is high, the rate of evaporation is low. Therefore, we feel uncomfortable, suffocated. Our next topic is condensation. Now, it is the process by which water vapor gets converted into tiny droplets of water or ice. And opposite of condensation is evaporation. What is evaporation? Tiny droplets of water, when they change into water vapor, that is said to be, or that is called as evaporation. Now, evaporation is very fast when the air is dry, but condensation occurs when air is completely saturated. So these can be considered as 2 points of difference between evaporation and condensation. Then another thing that you need to be familiar is the term dew point. So dew point is the temperature at which the air gets saturated. So these are some terms which you should be familiar with. Now, coming to the forms of condensation. Now, I've written this in red color here. The forms of condensation are cloud, mist, fog, dew and frost. So now I will explain these different forms of condensation, beginning with fog. Now, fog occurs at night, especially when air cools below its dew point near the Earth's surface. And the process of formation of mist is also the same. It also occurs due to cooling of air below its dew point near the Earth's surface. The difference between the two is that fog is denser than mist, and also it reduces the visibility. So visibility is poorer in fog compared to mist. In case of mist, one can see up to 2 kilometers, but in case of fog, one cannot see beyond 1 kilometer. Then another form of condensation is dew. So dew occurs on the surface of the earth, especially during the winter. At night, when the air is calm, when there are calm conditions and the temperature is very low, water vapor condenses to form droplets of water on the surface of the earth. This is called dew. One must remember here that the temperature is low, but it does not go below 0 degrees Celsius. In case condensation takes place below 0 degrees Celsius, then water vapor condenses to form tiny crystals of ice on plants, rocks, etc. And this is called frost. Now, frost causes a lot of damage to cultivated crops and trees, whereas dew is beneficial for the plants. Okay, so now the next element of weather is precipitation.